When you buy the 2025 G2 Master, it comes with all of the screws tightened to way too far and with absolutely zero grease in it. We already disassembled the front and now we're going to try the rear. It uses the same type of fork, so the work should be the same. We've ridden it about 40-45 kilometers and the front is already a tiny bit damaged at the
pivoting points
because there is zero grease in it. When we greased the front, we took it out for a very quick test ride and it felt much better. But the sad thing is, when we tried adjusting the suspension, as you know, there's the tiny little screw in it. That one got stuck and we couldn't remove it. But even without adjusting it, it felt much better.
First I demount the brake because it's on the way. Second,
we take off the rear fender. We don't know why Kukirin keeps putting the rear lights on the rear fenders. We think it should be on the footrest because it would be more easily visible. Also, the lights are a bit weak. And then, for example, if your fender breaks or anything happens to it, you can replace it or just take it off if you don't like the design, while still having your brake lights. Also, another weird thing is that when you turn on the lights, the side lights turn on and the indicator lights too, which we really don't like. And also, because the indicator lights are so low, it's very hard to see them in the daytime, but in the nighttime when you have the lights on, the brake light is really hard to see because the indicator lights and the side lights are really bright. So it's very weird. Now we're taking this part off.
Over tighten and all the screws are closed with Loctite. A lot of Loctite.
Also, when softening the suspension, you see that it has threads all the way up there, but if you loosen it too much, the spring is just going to do nothing. So you need to only loosen it as far as the spring is still touching.
Lot of Loctite, blue Loctite, very strong.
Now that those are loosened, we need to loosen these nuts to open the rear fender. But first we're going to take the wheel off so that the cables don't get in the way. need to hold the front of the scooter because the screws are tightened way too far. The scooter is literally about to fall over and it's still not getting less tight.
Fucking shit.
We don't understand why they tighten it so much. Even just loosening the screws without greasing the suspension and the pivoting points helps it a lot. You need to also take out those two little screws to be able to get the cable out of the way. Now we took out the motor and the fenders. We already loosened those pivoting points, but they were also screwed on really tight. You need to take off those two nuts, and then the entire rear suspension, not suspension, this part should come apart.
Self-locking
nuts, which are quite good. But sadly, the screws on the scooter are kind of low quality, so almost every single one that we touch, we will have to get them replaced later on.
and even now it's moving very hard.
Now we need to hammer this one out. Finally, it's coming out.
If you see this bolt, it's zero grease. Already it's slightly damaged, and we got how many kilometers?
40, max 45. Wait, let me check. 43 kilometers.
Zero grease.
grease it, it will
Look,
move.
it don't move. Now it's free. But
It's still hard.
now it's not hard, but itkene működjön normálisan.
It should work like this normally. Now we're taking this one out and the bottom bolt from the suspension. Strongly recommend getting someone to help hold the scooter.
I strongly recommend when you buy this scooter new, don't make any kilometers.
Don't ride it at all. Grease it first, or if you don't know how to or don't want to go through the struggle, take it to a mechanic that's trusted and has already done this. For example, if you live in Hungary, there's one which even has a YouTube channel called Roller Garage, which showed us how to do it. Well, not exactly showed, but he told us that we should do it. Now we're going to grease the pivoting points.
It's a shame to sell a good scooter like this.
Also, a funny thing is that all that Kukurun does is just slap on a logo. There is a factory in China called Feimi, F-E-I-M-E, and if you have WeChat or anything where you can communicate with them directly, they make these scooters if you only want to buy one for 2,000 lei, so 400 euros. So with that profit margins, they could really just ask them to grease it in or do it themselves. Now we greased it in fully, but we had to hammer it back into place because for some reason this part is really tight, but eventually it will wear down and it will be smooth.
Anyway, after a while we change this
Suspension.
suspension with a better one.
We're going to change it to Exaform 291 and 150mm ones. So we're also going to be raising the scooter by a bit, because if you open the front fork a bit more, so this one, then it will have less wobbles. And also the suspension that we're going to be changing it to, the Exaforms, also have a dampener, and you can adjust the dampener strength, the rebound, the spring strength, everything separately. This one doesn't even have a dampener.
it's only a spring.
Also, if you put those bigger suspensions in, the 150 millimeters one, you can just about barely fit an 11-inch tire, well, not tire, wheel on it. So if you want to upgrade it to have even more power, which we don't know why you would do that, you can put in 2 of the Kukirin G4's motors. But to do that, you would also need to change the battery and controllers. Now it's greased, and look at how easily it just slides in. You don't have to hammer it or nothing. Now we're going to put the screws back in, then the motor, and we're going to ride it for a few days to check if the upper part of the spring has, well, not the spring, the suspension has worn down, and if not, then we will sand it down so it won't be so tight. We also had some clicking noise in the back, and we suspect that it was because of this part is too tight. You have to put the wheel on before tightening these, otherwise you won't be able to put it on. So first you have to put on the 2 plates, then put in the wheel, then the rear light and fender, and then come the 2 nuts. Now we're going to put back the small fender that protects the spring from dirt. This is how the scooter should be by default. The suspension is pretty good under a 100 kilogram person. It is set to the softest though. So for my 70 kilograms, it's a bit too strong. But even though they advertise it as an off-road scooter, but it really isn't. Like this, you can go on bad roads too. So now it's pretty decent.